Wednesday. Wacky Wednesday.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Unfiltered. The real deal. No pre-planning. No chingaderas. Straight up from the bill.
Wacky Wednesday.
B-Town's very own.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Here's your host, Bumper Gomez.
Yo, what's going on, world? How y'all doing this evening? I got my special guest tonight is none other than Pennywise the Dancing Clown. He's going to be my host. He's going to have he doesn't really want anybody to know who he is. So he's going to be on the show. The camera's over there, son. You got to get your headphones on, remember? You get them on? You good? Okay. So guys, tonight, my guest that I was gonna have, we had some scheduling conflict, so we pushed it back 1 week, and so I decided, I wasn't gonna get somebody last minute and do that to somebody, so I talked to Pennywise here. And he decided to come on the show and talk to everybody. Hopefully he stays because he's right near bedtime. What are you doing? You gonna talk?
No.
No? You're leaving the show?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, well, I lost my special guest. My special guest was gonna hang out with me and talk about what it's like to go to school. So he decided to call it quits. So you're stuck with me. Tonight's not going to be very long, I don't think. I'm just going to kind of bring people up to speed, what's been going on. I've been working on the show as much as I can, trying to get people out. Again, and I've had people reach out to me that want to come on the show. Hey, go ahead and go close the door if you're gonna come back. You gonna sit down? No. Okay, come sit down.
Guys,
hold on, let me get you back on.
hold on. Guys, we're done for the day for now. I don't want to do this anymore.
That's what you came back to say?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Yes, like I said, we've been working on the show, trying to get people lined up. Some people, some people, they don't like to come on, and I guess it's I don't know, but if you have a story, man, if you have anything, if you're a small business and you want to promote your business, man, reach out to me. Hit me up on Messenger. If you don't have my number, that's how, what do you call it? This is. I even put my phone number on here. Give me a call. There's my number. You guys can call in. I have the phone ready to take in any questions, or even if you guys have any ideas for future shows. I had a really good conversation with the friend yesterday, and we're looking to take the show to another level. But it just takes time, you know what I mean? It's not something that happens overnight, and I just hope that you guys will, like, my continue faithful. They'll keep watching, because I appreciate you guys tuning in every Wednesday. You could be doing something else from 7:30 to 9:30. But I plan on continuing to definitely bring on different people. Famous or not, you know what I mean? You don't have to be famous to be on this show. I'm not looking for people who are, I'm not looking for dog face from TikTok. If you guys haven't seen that, man, dude, let me bring you up to speed, just because, don't really have a subject for tonight. But this young Chicano cholo, a laborer, the guy works at a potato factory, and he's from Iowa of all places, or Idaho, I think. Iowa or Idaho, one of those. And if you don't have TikTok, even if you don't, man, check this out. So TikTok, they show these little video clips, and this guy, he calls himself Dogface. his story, he makes a lot of videos, right? I mean, he makes a lot of TikToks, but this one morning he was driving to work and his truck broke down. So instead of getting mad and just having a horrible day, this guy's vibes are so cool and so great that he decided, you know what? I'm not gonna start off my day wrong. Hey, my battery went out on my truck, and it is what it is. I'll come fix it when I get off of work. I got to get to work. So the guy goes in the back of his truck and he pulls out his longboard, a long skateboard for people who don't know. All right, he pulls out his longboard and he just starts skating to work. And I guess in a rural area where he lives, you can do that. There's no cars trying to run you over or whatnot. So he records Fleetwood Mac. The song Dreams that came out in 1977. That's the year the song came out. And he sings along to the words of the song, and he's just cruising along. That song blew that thing blew up. That thing blew up, and when it blew up, the guy just, I mean, he was also drinking a big old thing of ocean spray. He was drinking some ocean spray juice, and he was drinking some juice, and it just like crack. Hold on, if you're gonna be on, I gotta turn you on. My guest is back. He wanted to come back. He's back.
I wanted to tell you guys that I drink water from the ocean.
You drink water from the ocean?
Yeah, it tastes really bad, but it tastes salty. I don't like salty stuff.
You don't like salty stuff? Cool, man. Hey, Jacob, did you get to see that guy riding the skateboard? Have you seen that video yet of the guy riding the skateboard when he was drinking the cranberry juice? No? Hey, we'll get back to it. Since my guest decided to come back, I'm going to ask him, and I'm going to give the show back to him if I can get him to...
Daddy,
yes, sir.
But when we're done with this, I'm gonna go ask my mom that we can ride the bike.
Okay, we can talk about that. Hey, Jacob, so you've been going to today was your first day back at school, right? Like you went back to the regular school?
No, I want to do homeschool on next weekend.
So he wants to do homeschool. So we put him back. We put him back on. He went back today for the first day. He's been homeschooled for the last 3 weeks, and he's a very honest guy. And he actually he didn't get his mom in trouble, but his honesty is just like they asked him today. How come you haven't done all your work? What did you tell the teacher, Jacob? How come you didn't do all your work? No, you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about something else? What's wrong? Okay, he's having he's right now during his sleep time, so bear with me, guys. Hey, but back to Dogface. So the guy.
Everybody, I want you to turn that off because I want to go ride the bike.
Okay, right now we got to finish this here.
No.
So, Dogface, man, he literally today or yesterday, a cranberry ocean spray, since he was drinking the ocean spray cranberry juice, they showed up to his house, and he lives in a camper, bro. He lives in a camper, like literally right outside his brother's house where he's hooked into his electricity, his water. He has to use his bathroom. Like the dude is legit he's just, a normal, hardworking guy that loves doing TikToks. His daughter's got him into TikTok, and he likes to do these little crazy dances and stuff. So it's cool, you know what I mean? His vibe was really, really chill. People dug it, and somebody gave him 10 grand, and the guy's so humble. Like right off the bat, he's like, "I'm giving 5 grand to my mom. Like I'm gonna give 5 grand. Half of it, I'm giving it to my mom." Without, I mean, he didn't even stutter. He didn't even, any of that. So I thought that was pretty cool. That that Ocean Spray did that. Showed up with a brand new truck, and then the back of the truck, of course, was full of nothing but Ocean Spray juice. So, just talking to I was talking to my barber earlier today, and isn't it crazy how something so simple like that can literally blow up overnight in the internet? Like the guy's literally dancing with shoes that have the tongue, the sole is coming off the actual shoe, right? And he's always wearing Nike, the old Nike Gangster Cortez. So I'm thinking Nike's gonna come after him next, and maybe give him his own Cortez. But the guy has his own stuff. He has his own. He came up with like a pop up store. So if you guys have TikTok or not, look him up on Instagram. I think too. He's selling stuff. The T-shirts are kind of high. They're a little higher than what I would like to pay, but I mean, hey, the dude's vibing. And I think it's pretty cool. It just goes to show you, man, that, you know what I mean? At any point in time in the world that we live in now, how social media can literally change somebody's life overnight. Like it's not even something that was built up. It literally changed his life overnight. So I think that's pretty cool. What's going on? Are you going to sit down? All right. Baby, the camera's over there, okay? It's not right here. This is what that sees. Okay. But no, yeah, that's going on. The Lakers. I'm just kind of bringing you up to speed. Tonight's just kind of a little different show. The Lakers are I think they're one game away from winning the national championship, the NBA championship, and I'm a Laker hater. I can't stand the Lakers, but I mean, the NBA knows what they're doing, right? It's
everybody. I want y'all to turn off the thing because my tummy started feeling hurting. So I want to go ride a bike.
Okay.
Because it's not gonna be super early.
Okay, now, all right. Close the door when you walk out. So also, I've been watching. The sports are back, man. I mean, you know what I mean. Sports are they're with politics right now. It's just crazy. The world's crazy, man. You know, the vice presidential debate's gonna come on here if it's not already started, and I'm recording it, so I'll watch it after the show and check it out. And I don't know, man, just this world is crazy. As I was telling my barber how, overnight this guy went from having nothing to, he's got 10 G's in his bank account, and he's just a laborer, man. And that's what social media can do for somebody. And then we got kind of into a real conversation to where, like, that's cool that happened, but isn't it crazy that us as society, that's what we've come to, you know what I mean? Where something like that blows up, but yet, we can't do, when somebody says, hey, help me out, I need to do a fundraiser for this or a fundraiser for that. It never turns out the way that, for that guy. So, speaking of fundraisers, the fundraiser I promoted for 3 weeks for our friend Leia, she's been battling breast cancer. Man, wow! I saw her video yesterday, and I was just in amazement on how the church put together a fundraiser in one day, and she made, I think at last count, it was like at $22,000 for some hamburger, sausage wrap, and chips and some drinks. So it was crazy to see how the community came out and supported somebody in need. And it just lets me know that, there's still good people out there. You know what I mean? No matter what the media says, no matter what your neighbor says, what your coworkers say, man, there's still good people in the world. You know what I mean? I think my wife posted an article on our Facebook this week about the two neighbors, and they were best of friends, but one was a Trump supporter and one was a Biden supporter, but they could put that to the side and still be friends. And I think that I'd like to talk about that. You know what I mean? Like that really, this last couple of weeks has been really, really crazy. You Facebook is for. I mean, if somebody's your friend, it's because they're your friend, or you know them, or it's an acquaintance, right? I mean, you have to know that if somebody posts something, it's their page. Like they can, you know what I mean? I just find it crazy that some people they're just looking like post something that they don't believe in or they're just totally against, and they're just gonna come on there and be like blah 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 blah. Either both ways. Like it doesn't matter. I see it all the time, and it's crazy because people are actually losing lifetime friends over politics, over something that's gonna change in 4 years from now. It's crazy, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say on that other than is that what we've come to as a society, that we have to choose a side, and if we don't choose the side that you like, well then we can't be friends. That's crazy. It's crazy to think that you can't have a decent conversation with somebody that you disagree with. You know what I mean? You might learn something from. I had a conversation last night with the guy that, I don't think I had ever spoken to him. He's a good friend of my wife's. They all grew up together. His sister is my wife's, one of my wife's best friends. And he's a pro, like 100% pro Trump guy. And everything he posts is about that. And I'm okay. I mean, that's it's his page, So me having a conversation with him, I mean, the guy legitly is like very educated. You know what I mean? He knows what he was talking about. He knew where he stood on things, and he was firm on it. And I was okay with that. Like, man, he some I shook my head and was like, okay, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't think about it like that. And I think that's kind of what we have to do, man. You have to agree to disagree. I always put that all the time. If you can't agree to disagree, then don't even waste people's time, man. And then you have the people, and if the shoe fits, wear it. I mean, you have the people who never post anything. You can post y'all have a great day. They're not going to give you a like or nothing. But the minute you post something that's against they're on it. Oh, I can't believe you said, man, I said have a good day 2 hours ago, and you couldn't say, okay, you too. But the minute I post something that's against your beliefs, you're all over it. And again, it goes both ways. It definitely goes both ways. I see it every day on Facebook. And I mean, even to Daniel, can you hear me?
It's John.
John, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You calling into the show?
Yes.
Hey, what's going on, bro? Welcome, man.
No, this is the first time. I was just listening to what you had to say about people being Trump supporters and Joe Biden supporters, and how we're able to post what we want on Facebook, right?
Right.
So the issue I have was not an issue. I feel like, yes, you're free to post what you want because, yes, it is your Facebook page, right? So
Got you.
my thing is, people don't realize, I guess they're not understanding that. Like for me, I'm a huge Democrat. I'm all for, riding with Biden. So um, I just, not too long ago, I posted something about I got a book. It was just all in fun. It was just having a good time with it, or just liking the book. If you put a pig in the White House, so
I got you.
posted that on Facebook. Oh my gosh. I just, what I don't understand is I'm Hispanic. I just assume that all Hispanics are Democrat, or not. I shouldn't say that we're all Democrat. I just assume that all Hispanics would be against Trump for what he stands for.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a lot of flack for posting that book on Facebook, not only from my family, but from other people, saying that what I as an educator, that I should be pretty much it's sad that as an educator that I'm pushing my agenda on my students. And my thing is like I've never once have I ever pushed my beliefs on my students whatsoever. I always say we're free to um, believe in whatever we that what I feel that my kids or myself or anybody is free to vote for whoever.
Right.
But the thing is, like, I don't like how it's my Facebook page. I can post whatever the hell I want to post. I don't go onto your Facebook page and post if you're a Republican. I've never gone.
But when you post something, you have to know though, like, you have friends, depending on how the settings you have your Facebook, right? You have to know that when you post it, that you're leaving it open for somebody to come on and say what you want. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. I a lot of my husband's family, they're all Republican, and they're huge Trump fans, huge. So the thing is, like, when I posted that, of course they came on saying
They jump on you.
yeah, that it's disgusting and I should be ashamed of myself. But yet when I go on their Facebook page, they're like bashing Biden and Harris and any Republican and Nancy Pelosi. I mean, they are just bashing them big time. But it's like I'm not on there saying things
Right.
about that.
Hey, you I don't mean to cut you off, but you brought something up that's near and dear to my not near and dear to my heart in a sense, but more like it brings it makes my ears perk up. You said, you always assumed that Mexicanos or Latinos that they vote Democrat.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be maybe up until maybe the last election, I thought the same thing, But honestly, John, I have friends who are in politics, and until having a good conversation with them, did I understand that those were the old days. Like, and I'm being real with you, like our parents and our parents' parents, like it was engraved to you. If your parents even had anything to do with politics, which a lot of them didn't, a lot of if you grew up not with, that's not part of your culture, politics, whatever. But if it did, it was like, hey, you're Democrat. Because you come home, hey, mom, we're learning about government, we're learning about Republicans and Democrats. You're Democrats. Don't even waste your time, thinking about Republican. And it's like, well, why? You're not even giving me the chance. You're not even giving me the choice. You're making it for me. You know what I mean? So then you grow up with that in the back of your head. Well, shit, dude, you go to the poll and it's like my grandma's looking over my shoulder, my mom's looking over my shoulder. I better be voting Democrat, right? And I think we shouldn't do that. Like I'm really against the whole all blue or all red, like just a check mark.
Right.
I think that you should go to the polls with some education on each candidate. You know what I mean? Because go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I mean you should just go to the poll with with a good open mind, and maybe you're a Democrat, you're a registered Democrat, but maybe there was a Republican in your local government that really grabbed your attention and really stood for what you wanted to, and you're just gonna vote Republican on that one, but you're gonna go back to the left. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, I think the Facebook thing, and you've seen it. I mean, it's gotten worse. I'm glad you called in because you're saying on your husband's side, they're pro Trump, so of course they're gonna jump on you, and that's just the nature of the beast. That's why I said, like, if you post that, if you post something publicly, you have to be ready to take.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah. That's true, but it's also I was just talking to a friend of mine this past on Sunday, as a matter of fact, and we were at Mi Familia, and we're just having drinks, and then the whole he brought up the whole politics thing, and I said, you know what? I said it used to be a time where everybody was okay with being Republican and Democrat, but I think that it's changed now because of who's in office, and I mean I could be wrong, but I feel like the person that's in office right now has we've really turned on each other when it's Democrat and whether you're Democrat or Republican.
Where we really have dug the line in the dirt. It's not just a quick scratch. Like, hey, what side are you on? Now it's like a big ditch. Somebody shows a big ditch and be like, hey, man, what side are you on? You know, and the whole Republican Democrat thing, like, it's almost like you can take it and run it into race. You know what I mean? It's what you throw out first. You know what I mean? It's like whatever when you say Republican Democrat, that's okay. So everybody's where they stand at. If it's against, their wall gets shot up right away. So anything you say is going to be, it's not going to make any sense. You know what I mean? That's the way I think. Like, so if somebody says something that I don't believe in, right away, I'm going to throw up my wall. I'm going to put up the brick wall, and anything you say, you're just talking to the wall. It's going in one ear and out the other. Right. You brought up another good point. You know, when you go out to have drinks or go out to dinner with somebody, isn't it hard, dude, nowadays to not talk politics? Like back in the day, it used to be two things you don't talk about at the table.
Yeah.
Religion and politics, right? But you're right. I think the world that we live in now, it's so thrown in our face that it's almost like if you don't talk about it, then do you really know the person you're talking to? It's part of that now. It's part of the friendship now. Like I know you, John. So you know, if you tell me you're Republican, well, now it's kind of like, you know what, dude, I liked you, but now it's just kind of like I don't like you that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get that. And the thing for me is I don't like to talk about politics because I think in all honesty that I am a true blue Democrat. I don't care if a Republican came up and, you know, had some good points or, you know, things that I don't think I could. To be honest, I don't think I could ever vote Republican.
But you can't. Well, that's what we're fighting for. Like I mean, I feel you. Like I understand what you're saying, but you have to be devil's advocate, man. You got to be open to listen. Like I said, when you go to the poll, you have to go educated because what if there is a Republican that's here in the city of San Antonio and they stand for everything you want to get done for the city, but you're not going to vote for him because he's a Republican.
Well, and that's you know what, you're right, because I did tell a friend of mine on Sunday. You know, I said, look, I did say, it's like, look, I don't care who votes for what, and I know it kind of sounds, it doesn't to me, it makes sense, but it may not make sense to other people. But I told them, I said, I don't care who people vote for. I just don't want them to vote for the person that's in office right now. Vote for whoever else, but just not that person.
Yeah, and then you hear the whole, like, this is the two people we have to choose from, the great America that we are. You know, it is what it is, man, and it's in front of us. And here in less than 30 days from now, you know, I think we will know already who the next president's going to be. And I've already made my mind up to where I'm very I'm okay, bro. Either way, you know what I mean. Either way, I'm okay. I just want our country to be great, dude. I want our country to love one another. I mean, I want it to feel. I want people to feel the way I want the country to be the way it was after 9/11.
Yes.
The months following 9/11 and just how united we were. You couldn't tell us nothing because it mattered to every single person that was within our borders of the United States. You know what I mean? It was to see the flags, to see, you know, and just I just somebody posted something the other day and it really caught my attention, like how much the world has changed. And no matter how much I want to bash him, I'm not going to bash him because it's not all him. You know what I mean? It's really not. But let's talk about sports, for instance. How sports is so embedded with politics now. You know, after 9/11, what did everybody do? Football games, baseball games. When the national anthem came on, people stood up with pride. They were happy. They were proud to be an American. They were showing the world. Dude, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. Like showing the world, like, hey, bro, you came and poked us. But we're still here. We're still together, you know, so I think, you know, watching the film of the guys wearing the fire department from New York caps and people just proud to be an American in general. it carried into sports, and now it's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the opposite is bad. I'm not. I don't want people coming here bashing me. No, you're you know, I'm saying that it's just on the opposite end of what it stood for 19 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, I agree. I want it to be back, like you're saying, back at before 9/11, but I also want it to be where it was okay to talk about politics. I feel like going back to that, I just feel like when my dad and my brother come over to visit, the first thing I have to tell them before they walk into my door is keep your politics outside this door, because once it comes in here, it's both of them ganging up on myself and my husband, and it's I want us to have a good time.
right, you
And I
you don't
don't
want it
want
to
to talk
be.
about
I
I don't
got
want to
you.
talk about politics because I know there. But I just want it to be back to where it used to be, where we were all okay being, who we are, Democrat, Republican, and it was fine. I just feel like it's gotten out of hand. It's crazy, but it is what it is, I
It
guess.
is
So
what it is. Hey, John, I appreciate you calling in, man. I'm gonna reach out to, because I know the debate just started, so I'm probably gonna lose a lot of viewers. But cool, I'm gonna stay on. Maybe I can get somebody who's on the other side of this. If you'd like to call in, my number's on there. Call in and give me your side. But John, hey, I'm still waiting for the invite to swim in the saltwater pool. I mean, it's been 2 years. I'll try again maybe next year. Shit, it's already gonna.
yeah, it's over. Yes,
But thanks for calling in, bro. You have a good night, man.
yes, you too.
All right, bye bye. So that was a great phone call. He brought up a lot of points. He brought up a bunch of stuff that I used to say. You know what I mean? You have to educate yourself, man. Really, like going off of what the media says is it's like I've said before in my shows. I literally have to open up CNN.com, read an article, go to Fox News, read an article, and then maybe go to like MSNBC or something like that, and then get all three articles, and they're all talking about the same thing, and then I got to come up with my own what's true, what's not true. You know what I mean? I think that people we jump the gun, and we don't jump the gun sometimes because we do it on purpose, but we do it because the phones now, you have instant access to the world immediately, like within seconds. You can broadcast something to the whole world for the whole world to see. So, a lot of the stuff that's been going on, the rioting, I was talking to my buddy last night, the whole thing about the kid and the gun, the kid who was defending a car dealership or something. They ended up, killing 2 people and shooting 3 people. And he was 17. Why did he have a gun? This, that, at first, right away, I was like, dog, what? Like, bro, this dude's good. He needs to get hammered. Even if he's 17 years old, they need to put him away. Well, then I waited a week, 2 weeks, and then I saw the whole video from start to finish, and it left me scratching my head. I'll be honest with you. It left me scratching my head. Like, I understood when I first saw it, the way it looked and the way it seemed, because that's the picture they paint for us. You can't see anything else if the picture's painted a certain way, right? How can you think beyond that picture? I mean, the picture's what the picture is. That's it. And that's what happens. You know what I mean? But the problem is that we're not getting the whole picture. And that's Republican and Democrat, libertarian, whatever you want to call yourself. Sometimes we just jump the gun and we don't wait to see everything that led to the point. I really believe that that we need to find get to the truth about things, man. You know what I mean? It's really important that we do that, because when like I said, the media paints a picture, and they're going to paint the picture that they want you to see. It's actually taken me a year to actually and I'm real. This is my show. I'm 100% honest with the viewers. It's taken me over a year to finally accept that the media is crooked. Like I'm just, you cannot take the media for what it's worth right then and there on the spot. You really have to dig. You have to do your own research. You got the fact checkers, right? You got the fact checkers, but who are the fact checkers? Who's checking their facts? There's a whole bunch of things, and I just think that we need to be able. John's right, man. We need to be able to sit at a table and let.
Hello.
Yeah, who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Rolando.
Hey, Lon, how you doing, man? This is Bumper, bro. How's it going?
It's good, man. How you been, man?
All right, bro. It's been a long time. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, love the show. Love what you're doing, man. It's awesome. It's positive. I can't say enough about it, Bumper, man. It's awesome.
I appreciate this. Is it? You said Orlando, right?
Yes, sir.
Hernandez,
Yes, sir.
the primo from Beeville, Texas, originally.
Originally.
All right, brother. Yeah, man. Welcome, bro. Yeah, I appreciate all your kind words, man. What you got for me?
Well, I mean, listen to your show and listening how heated the debate is between Democrats and Republicans. It's tough, man. It's real tough. I live in a house divided too, man. My mother is Diana is solid, Democrat all the way. I got a picture of Barack Obama right next to Jesus. She's hardcore, man. And then
Sounds like my mom's house.
and my son is like 100% Trump. And I'm on the fence trying to keep peace because, man, they go at it sometimes, man. I mean, because they're both hard headed, both opinionated. My youngest son's 18, but very educated, very smart. Listens to both sides of it. Comes up with his own opinion. He didn't fall into a category that I was trying to force him into. I know y'all talked a little bit that back in the day, especially in the homes growing up, there was a lot of you're going to be Democrat and that's all you're going to be. That's the
Yep.
way the Latinos are, and that's it. And he's not like that. He listens and he wants to learn, and he's pro gun and he's pro. There's a lot of things that he says that when you talk to him, it makes sense. And I think it's just a way of the future. We need to get away from the parties. I think the parties is just a way that they use to separate us as individuals and as a country, and it just creates it's just horrible right now. You see the Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the Proud Boys, all these different groups that just use the politics as a way to charge up and to separate us to the country.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, dude. And like I said right before you were calling in, about it's taken over a year for me to actually really pay attention to the media and not just take its full face value. You can't anymore. You have to do your own thing, and your son being his own person. I mean, that says a lot about his upbringing. You bringing him up to be strong, and he's going to make his own decisions. You know what I mean? And I think people, especially our people from here in South Texas, the Latinos and the Mexicanos, they go back to just it's just embedded. Like, you're not going to change it no matter what. You know what I mean? I think your mom was probably raised in a time where that's the way it was. You know what I mean? You're Mexicano, you're Democrat, but now your son is 18, and he's living in a different world. I mean, think about the two different worlds that your mom grew up in, that you grew up in, now that your son grew up in. Kids nowadays, they have instantaneous to anything they want in the world. That's something that is good and bad. You know what I mean? So he's making his own decisions, and that's good, man. That's good that he can. I mean, do they get into like really heated arguments, or just like a good conversation, like where you scratching your head, like, oh, he's got a point, mom, or?
No, it's a heated argument where people have been told to be quiet and just let it go because they don't want to talk about it anymore because it gets that bad.
Oh
And,
my goodness,
it's sad that politics has gotten to the point where like John, your caller in earlier said that you can't even discuss what your beliefs are anymore because you get chastised for it, and people tell you horrible things, and I try not to be political, and in the job that I do, I tell all my guys at my job site, hey, no politics, no religion. That's automatically going to start a fight here at the job site, and I
You
don't
want to
care if
keep
you
it cool.
like Trump, like Biden, whatever. We're all here to work. Just do what you need to do, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of the reason that Trump won in the beginning, and I'm not 100% behind Trump. I do like some of his beliefs. I would probably fall more in the Democrat category, but like you said earlier, the sad thing is that the 350 million people that are on, the United States, Biden was our best choice. I mean, come on, guys. I think we need to inject some new blood into politics. I think we need to drain the swamp. We need to get rid of, the Nancy Pelosi's that have been there for 50 years, and it's sad that these politicians have been here that long, and all they do is talk about, when I get voted into office, I'm going to make change. Well, how come it took you 40 years to make change? Shouldn't you have made change 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
It does. So like when people have been saying that, that's been the right hook since the debate, right? Mr. Trump really made it a point to say, hey, 47 years in office and you haven't done nothing. I've done more than you've done in 40 years. Okay, but he was voted time and time and time again by his constituents, right? It wasn't a nationwide vote. He was voted in by his constituents. So you have to go to what state is he from? Massachusetts, or somewhere in the Northeast, whatever his state he comes from.
Right.
Those are the people who voted him in. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? We all have our own states, and how much can they change? How much can you really do as a president? You know what I mean? As a president, I mean, there's different parts of the government for a reason. You know what I mean? It gives the whole give and take. And I think, and I'm not calling nobody dumb or stupid at all, but I think sometimes common people just assume that you're the president of the United States and you can say, you know what, Orlando? I'm going to go ahead and your company doesn't have to pay taxes for 20 years. I'm going to go to sign this into order now. Right? You know what I mean? So you're happy. You don't have to pay no taxes, but the president doesn't have that power. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people, a lot of just, everyday people believe that the president has that kind of power. The thing is that they don't understand is it takes more than just one person. He helps it. He can get something started. You know what I mean? And get the ball rolling. Yes. But there's so many things that take it in play. Just for instance, just right now, the whole, the COVID relief thing. You know what I mean? Like the Democrats can say, this is what we want. And the Republican, the House can say, well, no, we don't agree with that. And, it's got its checks and balances for a reason.
Yeah, and that's what the Senate and the House of Representatives, and I mean there is a checks and balances, and you don't want to put power with everybody, and it's just sad that I think that we've gotten to the point where politics is more about your agenda, not everyone else's agenda, and I think that's what they've come to, is that they're more worried about how it's going to benefit them and their political campaign and their race than how it's going to affect the common people. And just like you said, rather than say, you know what, I'm gonna pass the tax relief fund, for the people that are out there working that have been affected by COVID. It's well, no, because the Democrats didn't want to do it, I'm gonna veto it, and because the Democrats stuck in something that I didn't want, well, I'm gonna veto it, and then they just start going back and forth, and before you know it, nothing good. We're the only people that suffer, not them.
And my thing is, bro, is like it's a COVID relief act for us, for the common people, for the people that work every day. They get up and go to work. They pay their taxes. It's for us. We're the people that are hurting, right? Mm-hmm. But why does the Democrats have to throw in extra stuff? Like, okay, we can do this, but we also want this. Why do the Republicans gotta say, okay, well, we don't want to do that. We're only gonna do some of this. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I really feel that when people say drain the swamp, I'm in a sense for that, because I think when the country was created, it was created by, the people that were going to be in congressmen and senators were going to be everyday people, plumbers, carpenters, people, they weren't going to be lifetime, as they say, lifetime politicians. Right. You know what I mean? And it's okay. Like if you're actually doing something good, you know what I mean? And you're a lifetime, you started here and you work your way up. That's different. But I mean, if you've been a senator or congressman, dude, for years and years and years and nothing's happening, I mean, that's where people are going to say, well, you've been here for 40 years and you haven't done anything. I really get that. But so what do you, so I'm going to ask you, Orlando, like, what do you do when that kind of happens with your son? Even you kind of say that you kind of sway a little bit more towards the Democratic side. How do you get in between being a father and then kind of being trying to hear his side? You know what I'm saying? Like a politics side and a father side. How do you mix them together and kind of, conversate with that?
Well, I say that I sway Democrat, but when it comes to election, I mean, I and I'm probably going to catch a lot of crap for this. I don't see myself voting for Biden. I mean, I just can't. In my mind, and maybe I'm looking at this wrong. I feel that they're going to put Biden into office, and 6 months after he gets there, they'll probably claim he's got Parkinson's or some type of mental disorder, and Kamala Harris is going to end up becoming the president. But the thing I try to be most with my son is I want to be supportive. I want him to understand that he's got a voice, and no matter what, he can always voice his opinion. I mean, that's what makes this nation of ours great. And I listen to both sides of it, and I understand both sides of it, and it makes it tough because that's why I'm so against the parties itself, because I agree on both sides of the parties on things that I like. Do I think President Trump is the most qualified candidate for president? Probably not. But is he egotistical and has a big mouth? Sure. He says things he shouldn't say out of context. But it's at the same time, I love the fact that he was a businessman that came to become president. He doesn't take a salary. Is that part of his ego? It may be. But you know what? I mean, I think he does do a lot of good for the country, and I think he says things sometimes that people don't want him to say. But he just has a tendency to run a little bit and let his mouth run before.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was talking to my buddy last night, and I told him, I said, you know what, man, I said the crazy part about it is, and I've said this publicly, I've said it to my friends, people. I hope people aren't like, man, what's going on with Bumper? He's changing. No, I'm not. But for the dude can literally do 5 great things. I mean, 5. If you sit down and read it black and white, what it's doing for the country, 5 great things. But then he gets to pick up his phone and he gets on Twitter or he opens his mouth and he says something. And guess what? All those 5 great things people don't give a shit about no more. It's already, okay, cool. But why did you say this? You know what I mean? And you kind of forget about how great these 5 things that he came up with, or, his party came up with, and they got it into play. You forget about it. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody remembers.
Yeah.
Nobody ever remembers the good things you do. They remember things you screwed up.
So that's cool. And I understand, dude, like around here in South Texas, I'm in amazement. Like I've been watching my guest that I was supposed to have tonight that I'll have next Wednesday. He's a big pro-Trump guy, and he's from the Valley, bro. He has a hashtag PVT. I mean, the dude is he helps with the Trump trains that they have down there, and it's amazing. It's amazing to see how many Mexicanos que son Mexicanos, like not Mexicanos living, that live the good life. I'm talking about people who are working, you know what I mean? Construction workers, like, people like that. And it's full. There's a lot of people for him. And I'm scratching my head like, bro, I wasn't raised. Like, it wasn't raised. Like, were you guys not raised in the same time that I was raised in? Like, how did this happen? And I'm okay with it. I mean, it is what it is. Why I said that this world is not the same it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. Sure. Times have changed, and social media has actually, the phone and social media, bro, have changed the world. They've changed the world completely. And I think that, the people down here are big on that because oil and gas, bro. Oil and gas is the bloodline of Texas. You know what I mean? And we all know that if you vote red, you're voting for oil and gas. You know what I'm saying? And if you vote blue, well, then you're not voting for too much oil and gas, and you're going to take away people's livelihoods. I understand that. I get it. You know what I mean? I get why people are so passionate about, being one way or the other. My thing tonight I didn't have a subject tonight. We were just gonna, shoot the shit. But it's end up being good, is that I think that, we have to be able to sit down with somebody, bro, and have lunch, have dinner, and it'd be okay at the table. You know what I mean? If you tell me, hey, Bumper, I'm Republican, I say, Orlando, I'm Democrat, and we're done eating our enchiladas and rice and beans, and we get up and we're like, dog, I really don't like that food, bro. You know what I mean? That's how it shouldn't be. I've known you my whole life. You know me. We grew up together. Like, if you're friends, bro. Friendship comes before that stuff. So I think if there's anything that if I was to talk to your son, that's all it would be. But like, son, I'm proud that you stand for what you stand for, and nobody's, even your grandma's not going to change your mind. That great says a lot about you, but you also have to respect. Right? You have to. She's your grandma. You're gonna respect her. You're not gonna raise your voice at her. Things like that. Like, what I'm saying, stuff like that. So, I don't know, bro. I mean, what else? Is there anything else you wanted to bring to people's attention that we can kind of keep going with, or?
I think the only way things are going to change is if we get younger people into politics.
Yes.
Try to change the world and compromise. That's the biggest thing. If I think I saw something the other day that said from Jim Carrey. That said that if he doesn't like you, it doesn't mean that he doesn't want you to eat. He just doesn't want you to eat at his table.
Exactly.
It opened my mind a little bit. I mean, we can agree to disagree.
That's
but
right.
At the end of the day, these political powers need to understand that they're there in those positions for the people. Swallow your pride, suck it up, come up with a compromise, and do what's best for the nation. And I think along the lines, 10, 20 years ago, they forgot about that. And it became, I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm going to try and make as much money as I can. And I think you should have a limited term in the Senate and in the House. You can do 2 terms, and then after that, come out of office for a little bit and then try to run again. Because I think we get people to get too used to being in those types of positions, and they get too much power. And there's too many things right now that influence them. Big business, they got the lobbyists, they got all kinds of things that skew their view when they come into that type of seat. And because of that, it just changes the way that they are. I'm sure there's lots of people that went in there thinking they could change the world and probably get frustrated because, like you said, they fight all day long with.
And there's so much tape, bro. There's so much tape.
Tons of hate right now.
The hate and tape, like TAPE. Like, once you get into office, you're like, hey, I want to do this. Okay, sir, you can do that, but you have to go over here first, and you got to ask them to do this first, and then they got to go over here and ask them to do. It's just not easy. So before I get you off, I want to read this comment. And it says 83% of our young people say they believe young people have the power to change the country. 60% feel like they're part of the movement that will vote to express its views. 79% of young people say that COVID-19 pandemic has helped them realize that politics impacts their everyday lives. The great comment. Totally. I think that if anything that COVID has taught us, how yes, it's a medical issue, but politics plays right into it.
Yeah, that and I think honestly, I think COVID in general, it's horrible what it's done. I've lost a few friends to it, but I think it kind of as a group brought the families back together. Because before COVID, it was about going out and partying and having fun and doing all these things and going out to dinner. And, everybody was running all over the place. And then COVID happened. All of a sudden it was now you got to stay home. And, the opposite to that, the good thing to that is now you bonded more with your families.
Yes.
You stay home more.
Great comment, bro.
You've learned to really kind of embrace life, I think is what it is. I took a step back and I kind of took a deep breath and I'm a grandfather now and things have changed for me. When I was younger, it was about going to the river bend and hanging out, doing with your friends and stuff. And now the son's like, no, I'm going to go to so-and-so's house. We're going to play with the grandkids. We're going to go out and go hike.
It's cheaper to go buy a 12-pack of beer and drink it at home than it is to drink 12 beers at a bar.
Ramon Ayala sounds the same, whether I'm at Papi's or whether I'm here at the house, man.
No, you're absolutely right, Alonzo. Before I let you hang up, I'll tell you, man, that's a great comment. I really... I think that if anything positive really comes out of COVID for some people, because you got to think of the grandparents who are elderly, and they don't want to have any contact with anybody because of the condition, and we have to think that way too. You know what I mean? Like, I think for middle-aged families, like, you know, me and you and our grandkids, our kids, you know, that is absolutely true. Like, you know, me going outside my house to see kids riding a bike and playing outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That didn't happen 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just it really, I think it's really helped with the whole family thing. But hey, Orlando, whenever you want to call in, bro, I thank you for your time, bro. I thank you for tuning in. I know you could be doing 100 different things, and if you just started watching the last a few, it gets crazy, man. I have different walks of life, and just, you know, every week is something different, man. It's never the same. But thanks for calling in, bro. I really appreciate you calling in. It was great talking to you. I'm gonna save your number here, and whenever you're in San Antonio, hit me up.
Sounds good, Primo, man. You take care, man. God bless.
All right, bro. You have a good one. All right. Wow. So, you know, that brought up a good point, you know, about young people in America. Just this week, my daughter had an interview at her college. She wants to represent the Democratic Party, I think, their caucus, something. I can't give you the exact stuff, but basically they go to DC on their time off and they learn from senators and congressmen, and they kind of get into the government and how the government works, and, you know, these kind of things for college kids. And she's 100% into it. And me and my wife talked about it. And we're like, man, that's awesome. You know what I mean? My daughter Jackie's about 4'2", you know, but she's a ball of power, and people have always said that about her. Like, hey, I think she's going to be a lawyer. She's going to be in politics or something, because she does not let nothing get by her. So, you know, and there's another thing that I've read, you know, for instance, the country of Iran, the country of Iran, the young people want to be like the Western world, but it's ran and it's still held in power by the older people. You know, and with the older people holding on to everything, nothing's going to change. And until they die off, and these younger people that want to have a westernized world, then it'll change. I think kids are I think we don't, as middle. And I'm speaking from my age, the 40s, right, mid 40s. I don't think we give kids enough. And when I say kids, say young adults from like 18 to 25, we don't give them enough credit. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's my opinion, but I don't think we give them enough credit that they're doing their homework. These dudes aren't just jumping on bandwagons. They're doing it. Now, is there people that are just out there protesting just to protest because it's something cool and put on social media? Yes. But I think that we have to give them their diligence and know that they're reading, they're watching what's happening. I mean, so many young people, you starting to see congressmen and senators. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and there's, I don't know, but there's more young people running for office now than I think ever before. I'm sorry, baby, you're right. It was the Congressional Hispanics Caucus Institute. That's what it was. That's what my daughter was trying to get into. But yeah, man, my phone line's still open. I'm still on here. I'm going hitting about an hour right now. I'll go a few more minutes. If somebody wants to call in, I know my buddy Fisher was listening in. If Fisher, you have my number. It's on here. If you lost it, I'd love for you to call in, and I'd love to have a conversation with you and have people hear the great comments you're sending me. Veronica and Ray Riojas, you guys are always the faithful, always tuning in, and always have great comments. Thank you for all the great comments. They're observing, they're learning, and they're breaking cycles. Very true. I'm gonna let me put that up here. That's definitely true. Like, they're definitely breaking cycles. You know, 20 years ago, do you think a 25-year-old, a 28-year-old would think about running for city council for some? No, it just doesn't happen. You know, that we're in the assumption that that's for older people. or the only older people do that. But no, man, I mean, things are changing, and I'm really in the last, I would say the last 30 to 45 days, I really started just to read more, and even if Fish, are you there, bro?
Yeah, brother, what's going on?
Hey, man, welcome to the show, bro. Thanks for tuning in, and you're live. Everybody can hear you. Let me introduce you real quick. This is one of my old Marines from here in the annex here in San Antonio. He's a former Marine, wounded warrior, dog handler. The guy's been there, done that. So welcome to the show, dude. I'm glad you called in. My wife's like, she was hitting me on the side. Fisher like, get Fisher to call. So
Yeah, I try. Yeah, I try to catch a show when I can. Usually, it's right there in the middle of
putting the
movie
kids
night
down.
with the girls, or what? Well, because my daughters love that show with the Masked Singer, so it's usually right in the middle of that. So I can usually only catch.
Yo, Fish, come on, bro. Is it the kids, or you really like the show, the Masked Singer, dog?
Both. It's a good show. And hey, when my daughters love it, it gives me an excuse to watch that stuff, dude.
I got you.
But
Man, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But with the fact I'm actually working late at the shop trying to get caught up on some things, so
okay,
I was able to tune in.
What's your stand on the world today? I mean, do you stand on either side of the creek, or are you one of those middle people that kind of listen to both sides?
I honestly try to listen to both sides, because honestly, when it comes to our current politicians, there's been too much stuff there's too, well, no, I want childish, like, no, I want to get my way, and I'm gonna do everything I can not to let you have your way because it's not what I want. Instead of, and it's on both sides of the creek, man.
Right.
There's no more, hey, let's meet in the middle and compromise and try to figure this out and come up with a better solution. And like you were saying, like I was saying, agree to disagree. Like technically, I wouldn't say I'm pro-Trump, but yeah, I lean that way mostly because of what I do. Firearms are a passion of mine. It's actually what helps me with my PTSD issues, and it's therapeutic for me for what I do.
Right.
So that's, so like you were saying earlier about the oil and gas, that's why a lot of people vote that way. And the Second Amendment is also the reason why a lot of people vote that way, is because things that, like everything, that there's more people that are silent and doing the right thing than there are that are out there being idiots. Just like you were talking about the young people. The reason that, and I think that people don't give the younger generation credit, is because the ones that they see and hear are the idiots. Because the ones that are doing their diligence and being responsible are being silent, watching and listening.
I no, you're 100% right, and you brought up guns, and that's one thing that we haven't really touched on here. You know what I mean? Gun rights and stuff, and that's your livelihood. And I understand that. Just like I said with the oil and gas, you take away guns, well, then you're going to take away how you feed your wife and kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I understand where you stand from, but then you have to be, you can't just be, and I'm not saying you can't be, because you can be whatever you want, but you have to be open to people saying, hey, you know what? I don't think that they should own automatic guns, right? I don't think that people should own a freaking arsenal. That's not what I believe. I'm just telling you that's what people, you have to understand that's where people, school shootings and stuff. And I get it. Like, I think a simple meme, a picture that really makes it so simple, dude, but it's also so real, is when they put a picture of an AR-15 and then they put a picture of a deer rifle, right? AR-15 has all the fucking gizmos and gadgets added to it, lights and all kinds of shit, scopes, right? and you just got grandpa's old deer rifle with a little scope on it.
Yeah, and
They don't understand
but most of the time
it's the same.
they don't understand. It's the same gun.
It's the same gun.
So,
you know that. I know that.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is that what a lot of people, and then especially with COVID, there's been a stupid increase of firearm sales. Like I can't even begin to count how many people who has come in and actually purchased guns and openly said, "Yeah, I've been anti-gun my entire life, but now I think I want one." And that's when I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let's back up. There's some other things that completely we need to talk about in regards to safety. Because like for just like with hate to use the cliche comparison of driving a car, but when you don't just jump in a car at 15, 16 years old and go. You take the time to learn what you can and can't do, what it can do, and everything, because you can cause a lot of damage and a lot of death and mayhem with the car. We see it on the roads every day.
Yeah, and I get where you're going, Fish. But then let's think about a city like Chicago. You know, the guns are out there. You know what I mean? Nobody's teaching these kids learn from movies. They learn from people in the streets. Like, hey, you put this clip in and you just freaking you pull this trigger. Don't put it inside your belt. You know, facing your crotch. Don't put it in your butt crack. You know what I mean? They don't get the classes. And I know exactly where you're going with this. Let me ask you something. And that you're pro gun. I want you to give me your true, honest answer. If I was to tell you, Fish, you're gonna you can own one pistol, you can own one shotgun for birds, and you can own one rifle to harvest an animal, right? You get to have 3 weapons. Whatever 3 you want. You have a pistol, a shotgun, and a rifle. And as an American, that's all you could own. Would that offend you?
Very much so.
Okay.
Because because honestly, that's limiting that's cuts down to the core of our freedoms as Americans, what we can and can't do. Because and the problem is like I said earlier, there's a ton more people that are responsible, but you never see and hear those because they're responsible.
Right.
And it's the idiots that go out and do stupid things are the ones that cause the problems. So it's like me, shoot, I build them out as a hobby because it's therapeutic.
Gotcha.
So and collect them. So like there's some, and I've been to some people who have guns that buy them because they're nice, they're beautiful, and they're good historic collector pieces.
The way people buy art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And shoot, like just in the past month, I've seen some guns that people who have been collecting guns for over 60, 70 years have only seen in magazines. And I've got to handle them and hold them in my hand. That's almost like getting actually put your hands in a private viewing of, like, say, the Mona Lisa or something like that.
Right.
And everything like that. So
yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's more than just guns and going to the range and shooting.
See, I've never. I mean, you see, that's what I mean. That this is what I'm trying to tell my viewers. Like, you just brought up something that I had never pictured it like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've never seen it like, okay, people like art, and they're gonna go out their way to get the art that they like, the type of art that they like. You can see a gun that way, but art can't kill somebody. A gun can, right? But it goes back but it's the person doing it. It's the person.
Exactly.
The weapon's not getting up doing it on its own. I understand that, and I agree with you. It's always somebody, that's behind the gun. It's not the actual gun. But you have to agree a little, though, that there has to be some kind of control. You know what I mean? You can't get guns into people who are shooting people inside of a Walmart in El Paso. You can't give guns to people who shoot out a window in a hotel in Las Vegas. You can't give guns to people who want to go and shoot up a school. Can you control that? No. In actuality, no. You can't.
All right, because the hard part is, and because we're the reason for that is a lot of that is mental disorders because you can't because people try too hard to try to just blanket stuff
Right.
and everything like that. Like for instance, like there for a while back, there was like, well, with a veteran that has a PTSD rating of so and so shouldn't own a gun. Well, how can you say that? Because some people like for me, for instance, like me, like my biggest issues that I still have 9 years after I got hurt is I get anger issues. Like I'll get mad at the world for no reason at all. I'll know in my head that there's no reason to be mad, and I can't control that emotion, and that's frustrating even more because then you can't control your own emotions.
Gotcha.
And then what helps me? I'll go outside and mount a scope to a rifle, or I'll put a lower receiver together. Takes me about 45 minutes to an hour or so, and then I'm better. I feel great. I feel fine. I go in the house. I can enjoy life with my.
So that's like
daughter.
somebody rolling up a joint and smoking it in the front porch. That's what you do to get your mind right. No, I get it. I get it, man. I just, I'm being bumper, and I'm not being master. I'm kind of being devil's advocate. Like, I just like people to see what basically what I'm trying to say is like, I know people who are pro gun, and they're all about like, you cannot eat right away. It's like guns don't kill people. People kill people. Yes.
Yeah.
We get it. I understand
you'll never
that.
be able to change use the famous phrase. You can't change the hearts and minds of man. What's funny is like I didn't realize that this was so I was looking through my closet the other day and found my high school yearbook, and my senior quote in my high school picture was, "The pride of men will destroy us all." So and that's the biggest problem these days.
Dude, that's powerful, bro. You said that as a senior in high school?
Yeah, I thought
okay.
And I didn't even realize what I was saying then, but looking back, I'm like, wow, that actually is the pride of men. The pride of man will destroy all of us.
No,
because they can't see past their own wanting to be prideful and boastful, because they don't want to admit that they're wrong.
Yeah, no man does shit. I won't even do that with my wife, more or less the world.
Yeah, so it's, but that's where the problem is. Sometimes you have to be able to stop, swallow your pride. You know what? You're right. Okay, let's talk about this. There's got to be a way that we can meet in the middle.
Got you.
So and because I'll be the first one to agree. You're right. There are a lot of people that should not own guns or should not ever touch a gun and everything like that. But how do you control that? Because then it comes into blanket control and what rights do you have to give away? Because the problem is like if you give up too many rights, then the government's owning us in a sense. Like, you know what I mean? They're controlling. Exactly.
Are we really free? Are we free? Exactly. And I understand that. That's why I'm not one of those people. There's some people, dude, that are like, nobody should own no guns. That's it. Just military. That's it. And that's, I mean, I grew up around them. You know what I mean? We grew up hunting. My uncles have them. You know what I mean? All my friends now being in the military. Me personally, I'm not a gun guy. You know what I mean? I've been I was a victim of gun violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, personally, it touched me. It touched my house. It changed my livelihood. It changed what I could do. I mean, I put it up right here. You can see it right here in prime time. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Even after all of that, I'm still not one of those people to tell you, man, you know what? You shouldn't have a gun, dog, because people are just crazy. They don't know how to use them, you know, because you're right. You know, it's people who actually pick up the weapons and use them. They don't know how to use them. But Fish, I appreciate you calling in, bro. I wanna thank you for your service first. And you know what I mean? I still remember the day that you got your Purple Heart and I got to pin the Purple Heart on Drac. Like, I'll never forget that. I remember having the conversation with it was Colonel Riley or was it Colonel Barnes? Colonel Riley, right?
I think it was Riley.
Yeah, Colonel Riley. He's like, hey, he said, and this is for the viewers. So I'm gonna give a quick story. So we're about to give Sergeant Fisher his Purple Heart that he earned in Afghanistan, and you know, right before we're gonna do it, me and the Colonel talk, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna present Sergeant Fisher with his Purple Heart, and we're gonna give your dog who's named Drac, right?
Yeah, Drac.
Yeah, Jack.
I don't
So
think we meant so. I think one thing we forgot when we were introducing is I was a dog handler when I got blown up. I got
yeah.
blown up with my dog.
So your dog also suffered injuries. So there's way more to the story, but I don't want to. Maybe I'll have him on the show one day, and then we'll get into it. But real quick, so the Colonel Riley says, "Hey man, you're gonna give Drac the Purple Heart?" I said, what do you want me to do, sir? Pin it on his skin? What? He's like, no, I have it on a hook. You're just gonna put it on his collar. Hey man, I don't know. Was he's a German Malinois, right? Or is it,
Belgian Malinois.
Yeah, Belgian Malinois. Those are mean looking dogs, bro. Like even when they're next to their handler and they're being, you're not just gonna walk up and start petting one. So I look at him. I remember looking at him twice, like, sir, how about I pin give Fisher the Purple Heart and you give Jack? He's like, no, it's not happening. So I went real slowly and we got it on him, and it was cool. So I got to give a Purple Heart to Drac. May he rest in peace. Fisher, thanks for calling in, bro. We're definitely gonna have another show here pretty soon. Maybe I can get you to come in, and we can talk guns, and we can talk, that part of the world. That'd be a great subject to bring to the viewers.
All right.
Sounds good? Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in, Fish. Say hi to the family, bro, and stay up, man.
We'll do. Y'all too. Tell everybody, said, hey, awesome news about your daughter doing that stuff with her school.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. Talk to you later.
All right, later.
All right.
Hey, I think it was Ray Riojas. Ray, if you want to call back in, bro, you can definitely call back in. I'd love to hear from you. Actually hear your voice instead of comments. So if you're listening, you're still watching, go ahead and call back in, and we'll get you on. But this is cool, man. This is a cool little. It really didn't have anything to flow with tonight, but it ends up being good. People are calling in and. Hello, is this Ray? Hello. Ray, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? I'm sorry. Who am I speaking to? Is this Veronica?
This is Veronica.
Hey, how you doing, Veronica?
It was Ray. Wow.
Well, no, it's because it says Raymond Riojas on the caller ID.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. Okay. I was like, what? Because I'm a woman? I'm not.
No. Thank you for calling in, and before you say anything, I want to thank you for watching week in and week out. You guys are always on here, and you're always commenting great comments and giving me great ideas. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. I totally love what you're doing. I think I've told you this plenty of times. You're so authentic and real. You are consistently the same person, never trying to be something that you're not, and really kind of push the envelope in the most respectful way I've ever seen anybody do. You understand how people get triggered, and you quickly pivot and adapt to your audience. And I like watching that because I think that does take a special person to do that. And I think we need more people to do that to really help our country get to a place where we can be respectful in disagreeing and having different opinions, right? Because, diversity and inclusion, we talk about that all of the time. But diversity is just, yeah, you have other people's opinion, but inclusion, that's inviting them to the conversation. I had a leader once tell me, it was like, diversity is, being invited to the party, but inclusion is being asked to dance at the party. And you really do that, Bumper. I don't really know you, obviously, personally, but I've observed you in so many different ways with so many different people. I have absolutely seen that consistency and that inclusion of people in the conversation. And gosh, that's what America needs, people like that. So
thank you so much. That means that gets me ready for another 30 shows right there. Just that comment alone. I try to be as real as possible. And when we talk about anything, and my wife, I don't give her enough credit. Sometimes she'll check me. Sometimes she'll be like, "Oh, Really? That's not what you said on the. That's not what you said on Wacky Wednesday. I was scratching my head and be like, nah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You know. So I appreciate you. You always.
That's a good woman right there.
Yeah.
I will tell you, my husband is the same way, holding you accountable to your words, that they match your actions. I absolutely agree that's what you want in a spouse. My husband listens too, because I'm like, okay, you gotta watch this dude. He's really good, and all these different topics. So he's watching too. And I was busting his chops. I'm like, oh, he just assumes it's you. He just assumes it's Ray.
I was going off the caller ID. That's all. I'm so sorry, bro.
But yes, your wife is awesome for challenging you to, live with what you say you're doing, right, every day. Because there's so many people watching you right now. And so aligning your actions to your words is critical. So, but I called in because I wanted your opinion on something. Obviously, we're talking about youth, and we were talking about the election, and I don't know, and I apologize. I kind of hopped in a little bit late, so if you already talked about this,
That's cool.
tell me to move on. But what are your thoughts on the voter mailing ballots, and kind of how that can potentially change and turn the outcome, how our president potentially might not agree or accept the results? What are your thoughts on that? And how do we as a community get people more involved in voting? Because I will tell you that a lot of, and I am Mexican American, and I'll be very honest, a lot of people that I know, friends, family, they're at that point where it's like, my vote doesn't matter. And gosh, that just kills me inside.
Right.
So I wanted to know, what are your thoughts, and what solutions do you have to, really, we're on full court press right now.
Yeah. No.
How can we make this happen?
I'm gonna there's a quite a bit of parts to that question. The first one, no, it's cool. The first one I'll get with is you brought in the mail-in balloting. What I feel about that. Personally, I understand that we're in a different we're living in a different world right now with COVID. Okay, and elderly people, especially elderly people, they're not going to leave. I mean, I just said earlier, some haven't seen their grandkids in months, and you think that they're going to leave their house to go out and cast a vote. So in that case, I think that we need to both parties need to reach out to their elderly community and go out and make sure that they're going to do their mail-in votes. And I'll get, I'm sure you're on Facebook too. You'll see it. You'll see somebody who will say this all the time, right? They'll say, I want you to take $5,000. I want you to stick it in an envelope, and I want you to mail it to yourself. Do you trust yourself enough to stick $5,000 cash money into an envelope that you're going to get it back? In a sense of saying, do you trust the vote making it to where it needs to get to, trusting our mail system? And I do. I think that, the people who have brought this up as far as being something bad, their local governments have come back and said, and even, the Republican, because what you mean is Trump saying, hey, I think these votes are going to get fraud. It's going to be a bunch of fraud, whatever. Well, the where he's pointing the finger, the people pointing the finger back at him saying, no, we got this under control. It's going to be good to go. And, I think, and honestly, I think it's going to be all right. I mean, people have been mailing in ballots for as long as they've been voting. You know what I'm saying? There's just different forms of voting. So in that case, I'm for letting people mail in their ballots. Now, if you can make it to the poll, make it to the poll, right? I mean, if you can get up and go to HEB and buy a pack of meat, then and you're not scared for your life, well, then you should be able to go to a poll. Devil's advocate. I mean, that's the way people see it. But there are some people who don't go to the store, right? They get everything delivered. We have to think about those people. It's not fair. It's not fair. So that's on that issue. On the issue of Trump accepting the loss if he does lose, I think us as Americans right now, it's kind of like one of those things where we're gonna win. No, we're gonna win. No, we're gonna win. And it's like boxers, right? Literally, it's like I want you to think about if you've ever watched a boxing match. They go months of talking trash to one another. They go months and months of talking trash, and man, when I get in that ring, I'm gonna knock you out. Yeah, right. Your mom smells this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? It's ugly. And then when they get in the ring and they go blow to blow, blow to blow, blow to blow at the end of the match, 9 times out of 10, what do fighters do? They congratulate each other, they hug each other, and it is what it is. Whoever's hand the referee picks up, then that's who wins. The other one walks out with without the belt. The other one walks with the belt. In me personally, I think that's what's going to happen, Veronica. I think that whoever loses is going to be like, okay, good to go. If there is that, I'm not going to accept the loss because of this, and this. It can cause a lot of turmoil, and it's scary if you think about it. It's really scary. I mean, you think about all the people who have said, we're not going to let him get cheated. We're not going to be. I mean, well, how do you know he's getting cheated? You're going off of whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Does that kind of answer your question a little bit? Like as far as like the boxing. Using the boxers as a thing.
Yeah, that was a great example. Actually, both examples.
Yeah, I really think at the end of the day, you take your loss and you move on. My buddy Fisher, he brought up something that I think that people forget about are the silent people, the people who are not on Facebook saying F Trump. They're not on saying, F Biden. Right. These people are the people who are just watching TV and they go to work and they don't really, they go on social media and maybe read some things and they go about their day every day and they're going to go to the ballot. They're going to go to the polls and they're going to vote. And those are the votes that people don't really talk about. People don't really say, bring those kind of things to the table. So that's what I think. I think Trump. I think if Trump loses, if he ends up losing, that he'll accept it because it's what's good for America. Regardless if it's not what his people wanted, it is what it is, and you're going to take it and run with it. I think the part that we're not ready for, both sides are not ready for, and I think we're not. We're so ready for that night, to watch the news and kind of see, okay. Biden just took Michigan. Trump just took Florida, and we're starting to count all these electoral votes, and we're like, man, you see the guy saying, all we need is for this state to turn red, and there's no turning back, blah blah blah. We're not going to have that. It's going to be there, but if this race is as close as these people say it's going to be, it's going to come back. It's going to take weeks after to get if it is that close, And I really believe in my heart. I think either one, whoever ends up losing, and I think Biden's already said, hey man, if I lose, I lose. It is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and I think Trump's the only one that's come out and said, hey, because of the mail-in ballots and the Democrats and this, that, and the other, he's really been vocal about all that stuff. So with that being said, I see it as that. I see it as a boxing match. This is the prelims to a great boxing match that we're all going to pay to see, and at the end of November 3rd or November 5th, whenever it is, November 3rd, I believe. That night we're not gonna get the referee picking up a hand. We're gonna just kind of have to go to bed and be like, man, he got this many rounds, he got that many rounds. When are they gonna make a decision? So that's gonna be the part that I think that people aren't gonna really like. I'm not going to look forward to that.
We're pretty resilient, though, with everything that we've experienced this year. This is just another thing that's going to require us to be agile, right? And understand, okay, how do we navigate these waters that we haven't before? And how do we ensure that we're paying attention? And I think that really is the win here, is that there's just so many more people paying attention, so many more people inspired to take action. But it is, you're right, going to require us to anticipate the outcome and adjust accordingly, because we're not going to get that gratification of that night of
Right.
whatever side we're on.
So,
But that doesn't mean that we're hopeless. We just, be patient and be agile.
so before I let you go, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
Okay.
That's not why I called, though. Great. I'm on the spot.
No, and I'm not going to ask you which way you vote, but if the person that you vote for doesn't win, how are you going to take it?
Well, honestly, if anything, it has really invoked a spirit in me of paying attention to our youth, right? My children. I think that I sometimes was turned off by politics, kind of similar to some of the callers you've had and the things that have been shared in the comments. We just don't talk about it. I also was raised that don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics. Even in my job, leading people are science, and that politics is a trigger, regardless of how politically correct you put it. It is a trigger, and so sometimes I have to check myself and feel like, God, am I being a fraud or am I being unauthentic? But I also don't. I want to balance, right, how I approach things.
Right.
But I'm going to accept whatever it is, because that's the beauty of this country, is that we have a vote, we have a voice, and we can do something. So regardless of the outcome, I think what it is going to make me do is just light a fire, to continue to press forward on. I can change things, and it might not be overnight, but I can change things with the values, the experiences, the knowledge that I give my children, and the impact that I can have every day on just one person, whether that's to make them think differently, whether that's to praise them for their own strengths, be a mirror to some of their opportunities. Whatever that is, I know that I have a purpose, and the outcome of that would be that, okay, maybe I didn't win this particular, position, or maybe we didn't make the change as quickly as we wanted to. But if anything, that's going to motivate, and it should motivate more people to say, okay, this isn't where we stop. This is where we gain momentum. So that's kind of the position that I'm going to take.
That's a powerful answer right there. But that was a great, very educated, very just like your comments. Your husband came on here, said he loved me too. So yeah, it's cool. He's on there.
Again, keep doing what you're doing. I think at one time I said to bring on your wife as well more. I know she's behind the scenes supporting you, but I know I'd love to hear. That was the first episode that I ever watched, was the one on Vanessa. And I just want to say, I'm so impressed by your children, by your family unit, by your marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you are absolutely both a husband and a wife and a family that people should follow and look at and say, okay, not to say you're perfect, right? Everybody has, and if people think that you have a big family, which is super cool. I have 4 kids, and I never thought that I would have a big family. And I remember thinking, it's going to be like the Brady Bunch. It's far from the Brady Bunch. And sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, Ray, what did we do? How did this happen? But gosh, when I look at you and your family from afar, right? Because I don't know the ins and outs, but I'm sure you've had your ups and downs. What I see constant is your connection to each other and your ability to support each other. And that's really cool. And I think people, especially married people, they need to see that more, right? Because it's so easy to give up. It's so easy to, not think that what's the next best thing. And I think that you should display that more, because that's a really cool accomplishment, you guys being married so long and having such an awesome family, because it's so easy to give up and do the opposite. So I just wanted to make sure that I shared that too, that appreciation.
I appreciate that. And I'll tell you that I'm trying to get, it's just, having 8 kids, it's hard to get them all on the same sheet of music. My wife really, she's been yeah, the kids want to do a show, and you haven't really, and it's not that I haven't. It's just I want them
Like,
all
I'm sorry,
to.
I'm so popular.
No,
Like,
no,
everybody
I
wants to be on
want
the
them
show.
all because they don't they some live out of state, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and then the ones here, like my daughter tonight, she had something to do with work, so it's just it's really
Everybody's
try to
schedule.
get them all onto one schedule. My daughter's in college, my son works. The other one, he just got out of the Marine Corps and he's going to school. So, they're all doing different things. And but I think I think people would really get a kick out of, what my kids think of me. And if people think that, since I'm a Marine, that I'm just this hard and I raised my kids to be, and it's not me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I did 1%. My wife did the other 99%, you know what I mean? I was gone all the time. So she doesn't get that credit in a sense like that. You know what I mean? But I think it'd really be a cool show. I'm gonna try to get it sooner than later. Maybe during the Thanksgiving time that would be a good
that
good
would be
thing. You know what I
super
mean? A lot of
cool,
people
yeah.
would be around and kind of get the family to sit around. And if I could set it up, I think it would be great. But thank you for calling in,
You're absolutely
Veronica, and
welcome.
thank you so much for watching. And make sure you tune in every week. Like I said, some weeks will grasp your attention, some might not. But it is what it is, and I'm going to keep doing it every Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Yes. Keep doing you, Bumper. Great work. Have a great rest of your night.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Dude, that was awesome. See, that's people don't believe me. Like when you get messages and stuff like that. I mean, she came on here and actually said it. So that's the reason I keep doing the show, man. It drives me to do something. Out of right field, shout out to the Los Angeles Dodgers. If not, my buddy Cesar's gonna talk crap. Yeah, the Dodgers won today. My Astros, they didn't do too well today, but it's all right. They're gonna win the series. Those of you just joining us, man, tonight didn't have a guest. We had some calendar issues, but we're gonna pick it up right next week, right where we left off. Speaking on my guest, man, if you guys have seen, if you're on Facebook and you've seen that there's a Trump video going around where they say Trump is speaking in Spanish, and my buddy does a voiceover on it. It is freaking hilarious. If you have not seen it, I'll try to post it later, but I mean, it's so South Texas original. It's hilarious. And that's who you're going to have. I mean, talking about next week, Rock and Roll James, the dude he's an entrepreneur. He's been in the radio business for a long time. He's been in the just when we talk about this guy, you're going to freak out on some of the things that if you've never watched his show or don't know who he is, when I tell you, when I bring it up next week, you get me like, no way. Yes, that's this guy. So make sure y'all tune in next week. It's going to be a real funny show. He's actually, to me, he's like a mentor in a sense, equipment and kind of how he does his little YouTube show. I've taken so much from him, whether he knows it or not. So definitely, we'll be talking about that next week. The phone lines are still open, man. I still got 20 minutes, what I usually keep my show to. I don't even know. Nobody's come on here and say there's some bashing going on in the vice presidential debate. I guess I'll watch it when it gets done. But man, what else is going on in the world? Besides the U.S. election, the U.S. presidential election, there's, so many things going on in the world. We were talking about the guy earlier, Dogface. I still can't get over his story. It's freaking amazing. So what I was going to say, too, is Fleetwood Mac's song Dreams came out in 1977. That's the year that this song came out. And by this guy bringing this song to people's attention, to a younger generation that never heard it, they're downloading it. And I think that I read today that it was like number 37 on the Billboard list this week, just because of this, this guy's little TikTok video he made. So it's just crazy, man. The song made in 1977, 43 years ago or so, is coming back this guy's brought it back. So I think that's pretty cool. What else, man? In the news, again, we talk about the news, and I try to say the media. I got to read everything. But I think as Americans, we definitely need to start when something comes in the news and it's really, we want it to be what it's saying, and we jump all over it and we start putting it on Facebook like, yeah, look at this, look what they did, look what, you know what I mean? And then 3 days later, you watch the whole video and then you gotta swallow your pride and be like, oh crap, I wish I would have known that before I posted that. You know, it happens. It happens. You know, it does. It is what it is. So I just tell you, man, just give it a few days. The rest of your stuff comes out and trying to get the truth. Again, talking to my buddy last night, man, he brought some stuff that I didn't even know about. And I went and looked and he was right. It was true. So, you know, it is what it is. All my kids are doing great. Those of you that personally know me, all my kids they're all doing their thing. Miss Veronica brought up my family, and I never steer away from bragging on my family and my kids. That they're all doing well. I'm trying to get, if they're watching, I'm trying to get my boys tomorrow. If those of you are in the Victoria area and you see my son Lawrence, tell him to call his dad. I'm trying to take my boys tomorrow to go watch my nephew play in Port Lavaca football game, and I'm just thinking about making an all-guy trip, you know, taking my boys and picking them up, taking them somewhere to eat, and watching their cousin play. I think it'd be cool. We've never done that. Do people still do that? I don't know. I mean, I take family vacations, but do people just pick up, you know, just the boys and not the girls and take them somewhere? I don't know. I don't know, man. My boys would probably be having me do beer bong or something crazy. You know what I mean? I'm too old for that. But yeah, to my boys, if they're watching, if y'all want to go tomorrow, reach out to your dad. I'd love to take that little road trip tomorrow, even if it's for just a few hours. But yeah, nobody else is calling in, man. I'm gonna get to the debate. I think tonight was pretty cool. Oh God, don't tell me you're sad. Tonight was pretty cool. I really wanted my son to come on here, but we caught him right when he's about ready to, 7:30. He's already winding down. He was all riled up after school. Like he couldn't wait to do it. Wacky Wednesday con el bumper, and Wacky Wednesday con the dancing clown. He's hilarious. But I know what I wanted to say. You know what? I got a message the other day that they wanted me to go and call a football game for my hometown. I don't know if I could do that, man. I don't know if I could. I'm very vocal and I'm very like. I don't think I could. I honestly, like, thank you for the invitation, but I just don't think. I think that I would probably make some people on the radio mad because it comes out on the radio, and I think people would be like, "Man, listen to the way he's talking about these kids," because I'm really passionate about football. Shout out to Isaías and to Grupo Macizo. I'm still waiting, brothers. I'm still waiting. Thank you for tuning in and watching. And if you're in the Pearsall area, make sure you hit up Garcia's, the best steak in South Texas. I promise you. If you're there in the Pearsall Dilly area. So yeah, I think that I'm gonna call it a night. Next week we'll be back to having an interview. I'm for the people who stuck around and listened to me talk for a couple of hours. I appreciate it. I know it can't be the most entertaining thing to watch. But I try to make it. I just try to be real and bring stuff to light. I need to work on interview. I need to work on some of my. I watch them. Believe it or not, like I sit there and I'll put them on the TV and I'll watch them because if you don't know, let me put it up before I get off. I'm gonna put it on here again, right? That's my YouTube channel, Bumper Gomez. If you can go on there and you can put it on your Facebook and be like, hey, man, if you're my friend, go to this freaking YouTube channel and just subscribe. I need to get my subscribers up so I can go live on YouTube. So I'll say it again. I need to get my subscribers up on YouTube. So push it, man. If you're watching, whatever, just get on there and just try to promote my YouTube channel. All the shows are on there. I think I almost got them all the way on there. Maybe just the first one or two I haven't put on there. But as soon as I get done with the show, I post them up that same night. If you're driving somewhere, you just want something to hear, you can put it on that YouTube channel and go back to listen to older ones. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, dude, my channel has everything, bro. We talk about it, anything and everything. It's not a certain. I don't have like a. This is kind of what he is and what he talks about. I talk about everything. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in and keep tuning in, man, because it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. Like, have you would have seen my equipment that I had when I started and what I got now? I'm so proud of my equipment. It's like my pride and joy. It's like, man, this is awesome. You know what I mean? I get to, you know. So we got the Chacalan. He's on here too. We'll get you out of there. But yeah, man, guys, thanks for tuning in. I love every single one of y'all. Keep being you. Keep doing you. And you know, if you took anything from tonight, man, take that you can bring politics to a table and you can have a decent conversation no matter where you fall on the side of the line, whether if you're red or blue or if you're in the middle, whatever the case may be. Just at the end of the day, when you get up, you're still friends. You know what I mean? You're still friends. This is only for 4 years, and then it changes again. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is gonna be on and pop, and it's gonna be hilarious, man. And if you get a chance, you go on YouTube, look up Rock and Roll James. It's hashtag, so it's the # hashtag PVT. Check him out. He has some really cool shows. So he'll be my guest next week. And again, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good night. And I'm about to go watch this vice presidential debate and see this whole mess I'm missing. So good night. Love you guys. Next Wednesday.